Hello, my name is Jupiter Hadley, and today we're playing the game Purrfect Date. This game is $9.99 over on Steam. However, there's a deluxe edition that's $14.99. I'm playing the deluxe edition. I don't really know the difference between the two editions. As far as I can tell, it might include a soundtrack. I don't really know, though. This video, as always, is brought to you by the lovely people on Patreon who support me each month so I can continue to play and cover so many indie games and game jams. If you'd like to support me or check out this game or check me out on various other social medias, all the links will be in the description. Alright, I played a little bit of this game at EGX and had a great time. So let's start chapter 1. I played a very short demo though. Yeah, mid-game, okay. Who am I gonna pick? I'm gonna pick her. Cool. I'm not blonde, this looks nothing like me, but sure. Alright, I'm an angel and I accept. Okay. I like how the words move slightly. Chapter 1. I'm not sure how long we've been sailing, but it feels like forever. I'm not feeling too well now, so it's a huge relief to hear the deck lad shout. Island approaching, make yourself ready. Okay, Joe. I'm finally here. When I applied last month, I was just another broke student living off of baked beans, and I didn't really think I had a chance of being accepted to be part of the prestigious Cat Island research team. Yet here it is, the little black dot in the distance, growing bigger by the second, is the infamous Cat Island, the place I will call home for the next few months. My heart momentarily skips a beat. What if there's been a mistake? What if they accept someone else's application and accidentally sent the offer to me? I rummage about in my bag until I find the papers. Okay, dear Jupiter, we are pleased to be able to offer you the position of research assistant to Professor Purrfect at our research facility on Cat Island. The position will be for an initial period of 8 weeks. Your contract will be sent separately. We look forward to working with you. Yours sincerely, Professor Purrfect. No mistake, that's my name right there at the top left-hand corner, Jupiter, and there's his name at the bottom, the genius behind the whole operation. Professor Purrfect, science genius, and my new boss. I look up from my papers to see dry land rapidly approaching before us. It seems to be surrounded by a huge barrier of impenetrable black rocks. Impenetrable? As we get closer, we're not slowing down, and I begin to worry that we're going to crash into them. Then, at the very last moment, we take a sharp turn to the left, and suddenly, we're sailing smoothly towards a jetty through an opening in the rocks. I blow out the breath that I've been holding and break into a smile. Nicely done, Skipper. The ferryman comes out from behind the steering wheel, ignoring my attempts at camaraderie, and shouts rather brusquely, "Take all your belongings. We won't be back for days, so don't leave nothing you'll need." Thank you. I smile weakly at the ferryman and his son, and pick up my bags, ready to disembark. We guide seamlessly up to the wooden jetty, and the son leaps ashore to tie us off. He's greeted by a bulky man in uniform, who I take to be a security officer of some kind. Joe? Sir, caught you a mouse. And then he laughs loudly as though he said the funniest thing he's ever heard, and it's very disconcerting. The security guard remains slowly and turns his attention to me. Let's be having you then. He holds out his large hand, which I assume is an offer to help me off the boat, but as I reach out to take it, he snatches it away, throwing me off balance so that I almost fall over the side. What a great start. ID card. Oh, I see. Of course. I reach into my back pocket and hand over the laminated card I was given on the mainland. Jupiter. Okay. Disco Cat was really cool on the loading screen. He barely looks at it before striding off, grunting over his shoulder. This way. I follow him down a dirt-tracked path and get my first proper view of the island. It's beautiful, lush and green. I'm ready under its spell. After no more than a couple of minutes trekking, we're in base camp, which consists of an assortment of tents and huts. Along them are 2 more solid-looking structures, one larger and one smaller. I presume these are the labs. The whole camp is moderate, but functional. It reminds me of an army outpost. I'm struck by the lack of people. In fact, there's no one around apart from an older woman sitting outside peeling a pile of potatoes. I smile and give her a little nod, and she just stares back at me. I try not to get paranoid. I'm sure it's fine. Here. You stop the largest of the tents, indicating that I should go inside. I fear just walking in, so I make my presence known first. Ahem, hello? A firmly but friendly voice calls out, "Come." I walk in, and there he is, hunched over some documents. The great Professor Pauper. "Sir, it's an honor to meet you." "Yes, yes, you must be Jupiter. Come on in, my dear. Glad to have you on board. Good journey?" "Well, long." "Yes, indeed. We're rather tucked away here. Let me offer you some refreshments. Water? Coffee? Something stronger, perhaps? Whiskey?" I don't know. I'm gonna go for water. Just some water if you have some. Just some water would be great if you have some. Now that's something we have an abundance of. There are plenty of safe natural springs on the island, but we have the bottled kind too. I'm relieved as he passes me a bottle. I'm not too keen to start drinking from the natural water sources until I've personally checked that they're not used as cat urinals. It'll take you a while to find your way around and discover how it all works. So for today, I thought I would just get you knitted out and maybe introduce you to some of the locals. The cats, that is. I believe you've already met most of the human locals. Oh, I've only met the ferryman and the security guard who brought me here. Yeah, that's about it. And the lady outside? Ah, Miss Marigold. Her and her husband are the caretakers. Wonderful couple, the Marigolds. You'll meet them before too long. We're a tiny little family here, Jupiter, and I'm sure you'll fit in nicely. Thank you, sir. I hope so. So yeah, this is an island not full of a lot of humans, but that's all we've seen so far, so these cats must be quite tucked away themselves, it seems. Okay, first things first. This is your basic kit. He begins going through a pile of things on his desk, explaining each of them in turn. This is your backpack. You can put everything in it. We will be going on plenty of field trips, so it'll be very useful. As will your water bottle, some disinfectant hand spray. These are heavy-duty reinforcement gloves, which are essential in tagging cats out in the wild. Wouldn't want any scratches from felines we don't know, do we? I suppose not. I shove each item into my new backpack as he gives me them. Likewise, these goggles are to be brought along on all field trips. There's a lot here. He indicates to a small pile of what looks like laundry. His basic uniform, lab coats, masks, stethoscopes, etc. Portable first aid kit, camping knife with all tools attached. Finally, and without doubt, and most importantly, this. He holds up something that looks a lot like a mobile phone, except it clearly isn't one. This is your catalog. So this is almost like my Pokemon, I want to say like a DX, but that's not the right thing. The Pokemon thing that you scan all your Pokemon into. Catalog? Yes, the name comes from the earliest version. It was initially designed to record and store data on the cats, scan them, log their details, but as you see, you've come a long way since then. You can now use it to communicate with the rest of our team. I've added everyone contact details for you, listen to music, take photos. There's even a pen that comes with it to insert microchips into the back of the cat's neck so that we can keep track of them. It's a very valuable piece of equipment, Jupiter, so I need you to protect it above all else. Do you understand? He looks me directly in the eye and clearly expects a response. Yes, sir, of course I will look after it. Good. You'll need to get to know all of the functions as you go along, but for now, I suggest you take a stroll out and see if we can find a few friends to introduce you to so that you can try it out. He hands me the gadget, and I feel a bit nervous taking charge of it, but I also feel really keen to have a go. Alright, so we've got all of our equipment, and we're going kind of right into the job. We head down to the beach, the professor explaining things as we go. The mixture of terrain on Cat Island is quite unique. Even in such a relatively small area, you'll find forests, mountains, jungles, beaches, woodlands, all of these different geological and ecological zones in one place. It really is most remarkable. It certainly is. Even the lack of wildlife is, in itself, quite remarkable. What do you mean, Professor? Well, put simply, there is a type of force field that surrounds the island, disallowing anything to enter. You mean literally anything? Absolutely, no birds, fish, or creatures of any kind can penetrate it. Forgive my lack of intelligence on the subject, but, we're here? The professor lets out a disconcertingly loud laugh. Ah, I see what you mean. Well, there is, of course, one small break in this invisible wall, and that is where we built the jetty. But let's not get too boggled down by this right now. That's a weird thing to do. What you do need to know is that, basically, the island is shaped like a peanut. He picks up a nearby stick and draws a simple map on the island. On the sand, sorry. This is our end of the island. It's very well known to us now. We've been researching here for many years. The other end is not so familiar to us. We have encountered difficulties that have hindered our progress in that region. Oh. What type of difficulties, Professor? Well, we're not as sure as we'd like to be, but what I can tell you is that the environment has an adverse effect upon humans, including nausea at the very least. And at the worst, fainting, migraines, possible nerve damage. Gosh, that is serious. As I say, it's best to keep away, but let's not go into all that now, my dear. We've had a long day. For now, let's just say that we refer to the far end of the island as the danger zone with good reason. I must ask you not to put yourself at risk by venturing beyond this mountain range here. First, the map once more, drawing a line just past the center and an X through the end section. There are wild, aggressive cats out there. I wouldn't want you getting too close to them. They have a good portion of the island to explore, though. Unlike our lovely fellows closer to home. He's led me to a spot where a few cats are lounging about. What do you say to our catalog now, Jupiter? What do you say we try out our catalog now, Jupiter? He stoops down and picks up one of the animals, a disgruntled-looking cat who is sleeping under the shade of a palm tree. The cat lets out a displeasing meow, but doesn't struggle. Its large body, billowing with long orange fur, just sort of hangs in the professor's arms in lazy resignation. Would you like to have a go at scanning this delightful chat? I find the on switch and somewhat timidly activate it. The gadget immediately comes to artificial life, emitting a boop 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 sound with a red pulsing light. I select an app labeled Cat Scan and it loads instantly. There's no delay on this thing. The professor holds the cat toys with arms outstretched. I'm sure you said the scanning chip is implanted into the back of the neck somewhere, but it's difficult to find the one's neck amidst the thick cloud of fur. I blow to make a parting and press the catalog to his skin. It's a bit like scanning groceries in the supermarket where I used to work. That should do it. And he plops the marmalade Tom back into the shade. Sure enough, upon withdrawal, I find the cat has been successfully scanned. Meow. Fluffy Boot. This is Fluffy Butt. Name, Fluffy Butt. Gender, male. He's 10 years, 4 months old. He's a red tabby, Persian. His eye color is red. Amazing. Clever, isn't it? A large part of your job here will be to tag and scan the cat, such as Mr. Fluffy Butt here, and it looks like I have no problems at all in that area. Excellent work, Jupiter. Thank you, sir. I can't wait to get started. Well, why don't you get a bit more practice with the catalog and scan the rest of them while we're here? These five spend a lot of time together. They're like a little family, aren't you? Oh, yes, you are. The professor seems to be a genuine cat lover like me. I think we're gonna get along great. Okay, here it goes. No help this time. The professor steps back. The first cat I approach is very friendly with beautiful calic markings. It comes towards me already purring. Oh, it's beautiful. Meow. Trixie's female, 3 years, 8 months old. It's a calico, American short hair, and it's green eyes. Next is elegant, sleek, hairless cat sitting gracefully in the sun. She doesn't pay much attention and allows me to scan her with minimal fuss. Wow. Meow. Snooty Booty. Snooty Booty, gender females, 11 years, 1 month. It's a Sphinx and its eye color is blue. Looked nothing like its little picture. The fourth cat I approached is a noisy one. The pictures look so adorable. Meow, 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 meow. McMurphy. McMurphy's a male, 6 years old, breeds brown crossbreed, and its eye color is green. And finally, the one I've been deliberately put off to last. He's been sulking around the edges of the activity, eyeing me suspiciously as though he could pounce at any moment. I laugh at myself, already projecting personalities onto these animals. Hiss. This is Kibbles. Male, 3 years, white British long hair, eye color green. When I played the dating sim at EGX, this game, I ended up dating Mr. Kibbles. All done, I hope you enjoy meeting some of the locals. The professor lets out a little laugh. I have a feeling you'll get to know them quite well in time. That's probably enough for your first day, don't you think? It's quite a lot to take in. I'm suddenly exhausted and grateful to be heading back to camp. Yeah, I get a good night's sleep. It's quite late by the time I've unpacked and settled myself, but I want to write in my journal entry before I go to sleep. I'm surprised at how chilly it is. I've pulled my sleeping bag right up to my chin, but I still feel goose pimples bloom over my arms. Shivering, I rub them to warm myself up. It makes me smile to think that this inherent reaction to the cold is what will be keeping my new feline friends warm tonight. My eyelids close, thinking of cats, the island, and the professor. The world around me drifts away as I float up into a dream. That, like, said beginning or something. I don't know, I'm not sure about this glitchy bit. I'm not sure how long I've been asleep, but I awake with a violent jolt that leaves me sitting bolt upright. It's too dark to see anything, but I hear rustling and then a strange electronic noise. One that, in my sleepy confusion, I can't place right away. Boop, boop, boop. The catalog. Acting on instinct, I scramble to my feet and follow the noise of the tent. I look around me and my fears are confirmed when I catch sight of a pulsing red light getting faint in the direction of the forest. I snap into action and run as fast as I can. Barefoot, dressed in my pajamas, running at full speed into the forest into the dark of night. I must be crazy. The words of Professor Purrfect are ringing in my ears. I need you to protect it above all else. My legs trembling beneath me, I stop, feeling my heartbeat heavy throughout my body. I wheeze in and out, my breath bellowing in front of me in white puffs. I shouldn't feel like this. Why am I so dizzy? I'm trying to get my bearings and realize I've wandered perilously close to the danger zone. I can just make out the shapes of some large animals in front of me before my eyes close and I drop to my knees. This isn't good. I think this is a dream though. Surely it is. Maybe not. I open my eyes and the calico cat I skinned yesterday is sitting in front of me. She drops the catalog at my feet. Weird. I pass out. Okay. Hello, can you hear me? Are you okay? What is it? Don't be ridiculous, Kibbles. It's a human. Oh yeah, yuck. I can smell it now. It smells like human. Oh, do be quiet. Are they alive? Of course it's alive. It's breathing, you imbecile. Why isn't it moving? Would you come on and give them some space? Move back a bit. You stand back. Move out of the way. Let me have a proper look. I mean to come to. The Sphinx cat is standing over me as I open my eyes. We stare at each other for a moment while I try to take in what's happening. Is this one defective? Oh, I feel sick. I'm gonna puke. The cats watch me inherently. Am I going insane? Ouch, my head. What is it chattering about? They're scared and confused. Let me talk to them. Human? Are you alright? You? I remember. You took my catalog. Oh, but I gave it back to you. It's back in your pocket now. I reach into my pocket and realize my hands are scratched to shreds. I tried to reach into my pocket. Ugh. Ow, what's wrong with my hands? I tried to stand. Ow, my feet. What happened to me? Yeah, I guess that's from all the climbing. I told you it wasn't ready for that. What's that? Ready for what? Its atomical structuring is far too delicate. I tried to slow it down. Yeah, Floof, you tried restraining a human who's that determined. It was like a margay. It's like a margay. Its atomical structure didn't seem that delicate to me. I was like a what? Doing what? You made your own way back to the beach. Okay, but that doesn't explain. I show my bleeding hands. Ah, you crawled. Kara. Kara? Who's Kara? That's not my name. It's a term of endearment. It's an Irish thing. It's inappropriate. Wait, I crawled? You sure did. Like a cat? Yep. All the way from the mountains? Like a bleeding mountain lion. Impressive. But why? Because you got the sickness. Shh. Maybe you should sit down, human. We need to have a talk. Possibly a long talk. Talk? Yeah, that's right. Since when can cats talk? Oh, for goodness sake, since the dawn of time, how else do you think we communicate? I mean, that's fair. Stop spinning whiskers, Major. You know full well that human is saying. I think the revelation here, Kara, is that you can understand us. Oh, yes, that too. Will someone please explain what the hell is going on here? Well, we don't fully understand everything ourselves, at least not all the details of how this works. I think being stood in a forest, surrounded by a bunch of talking cats, is about as much detail as anybody would want. I agree, and more to the point, we'd rather hoping you would be able to help us. You are the scientist, after all. What we do know is that the clock has started ticking for you. What do you mean? Well, there's no easy way to say this to you, Kara. You'll be catified. I mean, what? Whether you help or not, you don't have a lot of time before. Ahem, if I may. It would seem that we are bashing this. We are basing. Maybe. It would seem we are basing this on our experiences to date. That when a human manages to find themselves in what I believe you call the danger zone, they are vulnerable in ways that they were previously were not. That is to say, you're screwed. You're not helping. Don't make me... Hiss. Whoa, mountain lion. There'll be no need for violence of any kind. Forgive me for being a bit panicked here. The vulnerability to which Snooty Booty was referring to is, simply put, if you are bitten or scratched by an elder cat within the danger zone, you'll begin a process of changing that ultimately will result in a full feline transition. So the question is, did they steal my crap to make me go into the forest so that I would then become a cat like all of them? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Classified. So basically you're telling me I'm a werecat? I look down, and in amongst the scratches on my right hand are two distinct puncture marks. The reality of my situation descends on me like a cold mist. Basically. Yes. My head is spinning. This is too much for me to take in. Take a breath now, Kara. You're not looking so good. What, have I started to change? I feel my head for ears, fur. Everything seems to be normal. No, I just mean that you're looking a bit shaky. Understandably so. I take a few steps, steady breaths, and calm myself enough to say, okay, why, how, what? Give me some data. What have you got so far? Look, we'll answer anything we can, but the truth is we have more questions than answers ourselves. So you say you need my help. What exactly would that entail? Well, finding our friends would be a start. The cats on this island, they're going missing. We don't know what's happening to them, but the body count is rising, and we've hit a wall. A wall of ignorance, maybe. Really, how many times do I have to tell you? The meowlers are to blame. Meowlers? Now, Fluffy Butt, there's no need for name-calling. Speaking of name-calling, I remind you to call me Major, madam. Look, they can't help the way they are. It's lack of breeding, you know. Overbreeding, if you ask me. Again, meowlers? They're the elder cats, the island's originals. They can't speak the way we can, hence the derogatory term meowlers. And how are they to blame exactly? Well, if I knew that, there would have been no need to elaborate for this elaborate kidnapping. It's hardly proving to be a roaring success after all. Look, Carl, all we really know is that we are no longer safe on the island. The elder who lives within the danger zone are hostile towards us. Not sure why, it's always been that way, and now, because cats are being taken, nowhere else is safe either. They did kidnap me, so that I would help with this. What are my stats? Okay. Interesting. You expect the occasional mishap. We live in an undomesticated world here, after all. But lately, cats have been disappearing almost every day. Even the last human we catified went missing. I'm sorry, what? Let's not open old wounds, Kibbles. Yes, onwards and upwards. Well, first thing first, this werecat thing, catification, transition, whatever. How does it work? Time passes, then you transform into a cat. Nah. That's a gradual process. It's different for everyone, but you won't just turn overnight. The clock is ticking, however. The first side effect of the transition is being able to understand us. Well, some of us. Not the elders, obviously. Not all the domestics, either. Then you have the whole heightened senses thing, the increased agility, the crazy body hair stuff. Let's not worry the human with all the details just yet. I assume there's an antidote? I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed in that assumption. Hang on, you said there was someone else you'd put in this position? Let's hope you're a better bet than they were. Why not just put the scientist in this position? Doesn't that make the most sense? He's the most understanding of the entire situation. Meh. Unfortunately, they weren't able to discover an antidote or get our friends back. I know where their notes are, though. Really? Trade. Huh? You help us, and I'll give you their progress reports. So what do you say, Carl? Will you help us? Well, yeah, I'm gonna help the kitties. I'm gonna become a... Yeah, it's not much of a choice, really, is it? Yeah, I'm gonna become a cat, so I have to. Afraid not. Okay, fine. So where do I start? Is there anything you can tell me that will help me track down your missing friends? Well, no one listened to sense. Start with the meowlers. And I'll eat my hat if it doesn't end there, too. Don't mind him, he's set in his ways. We have every reason to believe the abductions take place in your part of the island. Yes, nowhere near the danger zone or the elders. Well, that doesn't make much sense, but I suppose nothing does around this place. The catalog starts beeping. Oh, my alarm, I have to get to work. You run along now, we don't want you rousing suspicion with your people. You can meet with us later. I'll make sure those reports are in your tent before this evening. Thanks, Kara, you're one in a million. I imagine the odds are far greater than that, given your new health status. Go. And thanks from all of us. Wow, this is a lot to take in on the first, 24 hours in this job. This tent is so messy, and I have only been here one day. After a rather painful journey, I'm very grateful to finally limp into camp. I have just enough time to get myself tidied up for work, and I'm about to peel off my filthy pajamas when I hear my catalog beeping. I have a message, but I can't tell who it's from. It's not from any of the contacts that Professor Purrfect programmed into it. In fact, there's no contact information at all. Are you sure it is wise to trust everyone? Anyone? What on earth does that mean? Who is this? There's a lot you don't know. Think carefully about who you confide in. Okay. Before I can think of a reply, the message is gone and my catalog has no record of them. I don't have any time to think about it right now. I need to get ready. Yeah, I should definitely sort of figure out what I'm doing with work before I go into all of this. As soon as I'm presentable, I head over to the lab. I'm 10 minutes late. It doesn't give a good impression on my first morning. Ah, Jupiter, good to see you. I was beginning to worry. Did you oversleep on your first day? I'm terribly sorry, sir. I think the travel and all the excitement of yesterday. I take punctuality very seriously. He cuts across my apology. Not to worry, it's perfectly understandable. You'll find I'm quite relaxed about most things. As long as you get the work done, I don't much mind what hours you keep. Thank you, sir. So shall we get started? My goodness, what on earth happened to you? He's looking at my scratches all over my hands. Oh, I fell and tried to save myself by grabbing onto a bush. Not a secret drinker, are you, Jupiter? Oh, no, sir. I'm a bit of a lightweight, to tell you the truth. Just teasing. We ought to get those hands sorted out, though. They look pretty nasty to me. He goes to a tall metal cabinet in the corner, takes out a bottle and some cotton wool, and he begins cleaning and tending to my hands while he talks. For today, I'd like you to help me with a few tasks around the lab to get the hang of things, but from tomorrow, I'll let you make your own choices about how best to carve up your time. Of course, you're primarily here to carry out your job as my research assistant. However, try to make the most of your time on the island. Once your work is complete, we'll be saying goodbye. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so don't waste it all in the lab. Naturally, I'll need your help around here, but I'd also like you to get your hands dirty with some field work. Make sure you spend time exploring the island. It's a beautiful place, and there's a lot to see. Take the time to get to know the cats. A full understanding of their behavior is crucial to our research. There's plenty to see and do, however, you must be careful not to overwork. Take regular rest and relaxation. You don't want yourself burning out, now do we? I'll try to get the balance right. That's the spirit, so here we are. He's done a first-class job on my wounds, and they aren't bothering me nearly as much. I spend the rest of the day with the professor, getting to know how the various pieces of equipment in the lab work, finding out where everything is, and learning some of the basic duties that I'll be performing routinely. That sounds very good. By the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I make my way to my tent. I'm about to flop down on my bed when I see a package poking out from underneath it. It's the reports that Kibble promised to deliver. The cat's right. The previous person barely made a start on producing an antidote. I'm gutted and worried. What if I can't do better? Will I just turn into a cat? I decide it's not an option and resolve to get going on my own research into it tomorrow. My instincts tell me that these cats will be a good starting point. I have a feeling they know a lot more than they're prepared to tell me. I need to gain their trust and see if I can't get them to open up a bit. I'm sure it'll make more progress if I focus on one at a time. I'm optimistic that one-to-one sharing will prove fruitful. It's a small glimmer of hope. Tonight, I'm not fit for anything. I can barely even write my journal before I fall asleep. Dear journal, I turned into a cat. The first morning of waking up on the island, I'm so excited to discover that the day will bring. Should I jump straight to lab research, or maybe it'd be wise to start investigating a way to help these cats? Perhaps a good starting point would be to get to know the cats a little better on a one-to-one basis. Well, that's what we decided yesterday. Oh, I thought I was gonna get like these ideas, options, but okay. So I'm gonna do some research because that's my job and I need to do my job first. Research 5, I suppose. Time to round up some kitties. Okay. It's a sunny afternoon. Most of the cats are lazing on the beach. Perfect, like shooting fish in a barrel. Double check my supply list: crates, treats, sedatives, snare, catnip, antiseptic cream for myself. I've got everything. I have a sick feeling in my tummy, but I ignore it best I can. This is going to be a challenge, but I'm pleased that Professor is trusting me with more physical tasks. I walk out into the beach feeling like a child catcher. I keep reminding myself that I'm doing this for the greater good, even if it makes me unpopular with the cats. I set up the crate in an unsuspecting location and keep the snare hidden behind my back. At first, I stroll around, trying to look as casual as possible, whistling a tune as I walk. I get close to one of the smaller cats and I start to stroke her. I want this to be as painless as possible. The cat responds well to me. She even starts to purr gently. Are you going to come with me? The cat looks at me with big, wide, loving eyes. Come on, then. I pick the cat up and carry her to the crate and place her gently inside. I lock it shut. Even the cat makes no attempt to escape. Well, that went better than I expected. This may be a good day after all. Emboldened by my success, I approach one of the slightly larger cats. Hey, matey, shall we get to the basket? I give him a little stroke, and he doesn't respond badly, although he doesn't seem particularly interested either. I put my hands on either side of his body, ready to pick him up. I just want to see if my stats have changed. No, okay. He doesn't look happy about it, and he growls a warning at me. Hey, mister, it's going to be okay. We're just going on a little trip, alright? As soon as I start to lift, he breaks all hell loose. Yowling and hissing, he scratches my arms to ribbons. I try to get him into the basket, but he scratches out, and I can't fit him in. Ow, no. I know when I'm defeated and I have to let him go. He scampers off into the distance. I look down at my ravaged arms. Note to self, wear long sleeves when on caging duty. That one cat. Not the best. It's not the best work. Right. Let's do some recon. I only have 4% antidote, so. Right, so some of these I have to unlock after other chapters. So a strange mess in the middle of the night. Does anyone let silent sleep? What security guard I met when I arrived might be a good lead. Yeah, let's do that. Doing the lower number ones because I feel like I might be better at them. I've been staring at the back of his head for a long time now. Too long. I'm starting to feel creepy. I just don't understand it all. All he does is sit in a chair by the docks, eating egg sandwiches and doing crossword puzzles. How does a man like that become the security guard for a place like this? As far as I can tell, his job consists of greeting the boat to make sure nothing unauthorized gets on or off, and picking up supply deliveries and occasionally taking a long, lazy lap of the island to make sure everything's secure. I wonder what he knows about the research that goes on here, if anything. He doesn't seem to be interested, regardless. I decide it's time to get to know this island bouncer and to go join him at the docks. I sit next to Zane, me on the sand, him in that chair. He's not wearing his big coat, and the short-sleeved shirt allows me to notice for the first time how surprisingly muscular he is. I never truly thought of him as security in the bodyguard sense, but now squinting at him sideways, trying not to stare too obviously, I begin to see him in a new light. I pick up the courage to talk. Hey Zane, how are you? Are you trying to start a conversation? He says this without looking up from his crossword puzzle. Oh, I suppose I am, yes. I don't get to chat to humans much in my job. Research Assistant 125. He rolls the words out like he's reading them. Oh yes, I guess that's me. So what does the number stand for anyhow? You don't know? He asked monotonously, eyes still glued to his crossword puzzle. No, actually, to be honest, Zane, I don't know much at all. There's a definite lack of intel sharing on this project. Which project would that be? This one? The whole research project that's going on? Is there more than one? Depends on who you ask. I was asking you really. I understand your job and I don't need to. I don't care about things I don't need to. What do you care about? Zane looks at me for the first time. You really want to talk, don't you? Well, there's not much else to do here. Besides, I'm interested in it all, aren't you? My interests consist of what's for dinner and when my next puzzle book's coming. When it's coming, you get it delivered. Comes with the mail. He's back to not looking at me again. The mail? You mean the parcels? And the letters, yeah. The letters? Who would go to the trouble sending mail all the way out here when we have email? I laugh, but Zane looks very seriously. It's safer sending mail the old-fashioned way. With emails, there's viruses, hackers, worms, cyber terrorists. I get the feeling he's not very tech-savvy. Yeah, but anyone can open and read a letter, right? Not if I'm around. Besides, who would suspect that something important would be in a fragrant pink envelope? There's an awkward silence. Of course, being my usual socially inept self, I'm desperate to fill it. You need help with that crossword? I'm pretty good. I can even do the cryptic puzzle in the Daily Inquirer. This line usually gives me a little kudos, but Zane simply ignores me. I decide to just come out and say what's on my mind. I mean, I can't make things more awkward than they already are. Zane, have you ever noticed anything strange going on here? Cats behaving weirdly? Zane suddenly looks up, his eyes locking straight onto mine, unwavering and hard. No. Have you? Well, not exactly, but... He is looking at me properly for the first time since we met, and I've definitely captured his attention, but I'm too nervous to follow through. I'm just being silly. The lack of human company can get to me. Gives me daft ideas. Such as? He's still staring at me as though he's trying to read my mind. Sometimes when I'm out tagging, I feel like they're playing games on me, like children, hide and seek and that kind of thing. So the cats may be maybe cleverer than any of us give them credit for. Now it's my turn to be intrigued. In what way? They know when to stay out for the sun. They're going pink. In a moment, the moment, if there was one, is over. I decide maybe Zane isn't the best person to talk to about my concerns. Feeling unwanted and slightly dejected, I decide to head back to camp. I stand up and brush the sand off me. What's the 5-letter word for solitude? Alone. Zane silently scribbles in his book as I leave. That was disappointing. That was not a good interaction. Alright, so we're at 2.8%. Let's do some romance. Alright, so we've only got 2 cats to pick. I feel like McMurphy, the snooty booty. McMurphy, let's pick McMurphy. Kara, wake up. Mommy, is that you? Shh, quiet, Kara. Come with me, I have something to show you, but you have to be quiet. Alright, so that's nighttime. McMurphy? Yes, it's me. It's the middle of the night. Kara, you're not scared, are you? Why would I be scared? Creeping around in a forest in the middle of the night? Don't worry, Kara, I'll be there to protect you. McMurphy, you know very well there's a force field around this island, stopping anything from the outside getting in. It makes this island pretty safe. Indeed, so the only thing you have to worry about are the things that are already here. He leers at me with a mock snarl. Seriously, Murph? If you're the worst threat here, then this is the safest place on Earth. So, come on, Kara, what are you waiting for? I follow the scraggy cat into the forest. The ground is wet and muddy, and I lose my footing a couple of times, but McMurphy is too determined to notice. Suddenly, he stops dead in his tracks. Here we are. Where's here, McMurphy? He ignores my question and starts digging into some mud and leaves on the ground. Almost got it. Could use a hand car if you don't mind. Get these leaves out of the way. There it is. Here we are. Okay. We keep digging until there's a fairly deep hole in the ground. My arms and night clothes are covered in mud and leaves, and McMurphy looks like a bog monster in the darkness. Ta-da! Ta-da! You can't see it, Kara? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I always forget how useless human eyes are in the dark. Just reach into the hole and take out whatever you find. I reluctantly reach into the burrow and feel something hard and cold against my hand. I wrap my fingers around it and pull it out. I know the shape, but my eyes can hardly process it. It's a bottle? That's right, Car. It's my secret stash. No one knows about it, not a soul, but I thought I'd share it with you. Thought we could have a kind of welcome to the island party for two. Secret stash. Is this booze? Murphy lets out a wild laugh. That it is, Kara. You drink alcohol? But you're a cat. That can't be good for your body. It's not good for anybody's. But it does wonders to the soul, to be sure. Well, I suppose you're right here, McMurphy. I guess one little nip couldn't hurt. That's the spirit. I try in vain to get some of the mud off me before giving up and sitting down against a tree. A sodden McMurphy curls up in my lap. It takes me a while to uncork the bottle. McMurphy keeps telling me to smash it open and that the shards of glass will only add to the flavor, but eventually I succeed my way. I pour a little out from McMurphy to a leaf. Oh, sorry, my voice started dying there. Onto a leaf, and I self-consciously swing from the bottle, feeling a touch uncivilized. Ugh, McMurphy, what in heaven's name is this? Oh, now, don't worry about that, Cara. It's not about the taste, it's about the company. I hardly think of the type of person you'd usually hang around with. Well, I usually hang around with cats, and they're not exactly what you'd call my type. I respond by widening my eyes as I take another swig from the bottle. Somehow it tastes less terrible the second time around. I find humans much more interesting. They usually have a lot to say. Present company accepted. Ah, so he's picking on me. I see. McMurphy winks at me with his huge green eyes, and I blush, trying desperately not to show how boring I feel compared to him. Don't take it harsh, I'm only joking, Cara. McMurphy, I've been meaning to ask you something for a while now. Alright, Cara, ask away. I'd love for us to get to know each other better. This Cara thing. You know my name is... The rest of my sentence is drowned out by McMurphy's howls of laughter. Oh, you make me laugh, Cara. You really do. I know exactly what your name is, Jupiter. Cara is just, it's like a pet name, you know? Cara means friend, buddy, amigo. It's something my mammy used to call people, and I guess it just stuck. It's one of the few things I remember about her, actually. That and her beautiful smile. Hey, flash me your pearly whites. I smile at McMurphy awkwardly. He bursts out into fits of laughter again. Oh, that's a lovely smile, to be sure, but you need to grow into it yet. Could I have a top-up over here? I don't know if I feel comfortable giving you more alcohol, McMurphy. I think you've had more than enough. In fact, I don't want to give you any in the first place. Did you not know that cats have 9 lives? And you want to waste them all on booze? Why not? Besides, the night is still young and we've just begun our conversation. Come on, Cara. We've got a lot of chin-wagging to do yet. Are you going to pour or not? Cheers. Part of me thinks I ought to be a responsible human here and cut off your alcohol supply, but you just met them. I don't know. I believe in a true democracy. Would you care to expand on that and perhaps pour the drinks as you do? The true democratic principle that none shall have power over the people, cats, whatever. How inspirational, I'll toast to that. Alright, McMurphy, but on your head be it, for with the rejection of authority comes the responsibility for bearing the consequences of your actions. I pour some more of the suspect liquor into McMurphy's soggy leaf. Sante? I don't know how things work in cat protocol, but in human terms, you are very mature, very grown-up, adult, oh fiddlesticks. You're over a certain age, and as such can take responsibility for your own choices. I like it, spoken like a true libertine. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but you can shake my tail when I feel the vibe. I can't believe I just said that. This stuff is stronger than it looks. Yeah, it sounded a bit weird. My proverbial hat is off to you. I feel disproportionately pleased that Murphy has paid me a compliment. Hey, say, Clara, have you ever been in love? McMurphy, the second leaf has gone straight to your head. The cat smiles slyly. I'm going to take that as a yes. Are you still with them? I was never technically with them to begin with. Ouch. Well, it's definitely their loss. Oh, I don't think so, McMurphy. We never actually met. Ah, you're not saying you're one of these, internet stalker types, are you? Them catfish that Kibbles tells tales of? No, McMurphy, gosh. It was Bowie, okay? I was in love with David Bowie, you know? McMurphy frowns and shakes his furry head. See these eyes so green? Look at my character's picture. I can stare for 1,000 years, you know? Oh, that's a charming song, but I'm afraid I have no idea what's going on anymore. Oh, come on, McMurphy. Everyone knows who David Bowie is. Red hair, lots of makeup, one blue eye, one brown eye. Well, I do know one sweet soul with a blue and a brown eye, but I can assure you they wouldn't be caught dead in makeup. McMurphy snorts. What about you, McMurphy? Who's the love of your life? I don't have one, Clara. Never have, never will. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a free agent. I'm a big old Yeti. Out in the mountains, all hairy and smelly and alone. For some reason, I find that very hard to believe, Murphy. For some reason, I find that very hard to believe, Mr. McMurphy. Fine, you're right. I'm a fool. I'm a lovesick fool. I've had my heart broken more times than once, Car, and each time hurt more than the last, I tell you. The thing is, though, Car, I can't remember a thing about any of them. Any of what? I don't know. What are we even talking about? David Bowie. Oh, that's right. So tell me of how you two met. McFiffy. I think I'm drunk. What the hell is it that we've been drinking? Ah, leave me alone. I haven't touched a drop. Ugh, I think I'm gonna vom. I wake up in the forest with a half-empty bottle in my hand, and McMurphy is nowhere to be seen. How the hell do I get here? I can't remember a thing. I look at my catalog. Oh, is it really the time? Crikey, I need to get to work. Yeah, I don't think that was actually helpful in any way towards our investigation at all. I'm quite tired, but I can do some research. You're looking a little tired. You only have one heart remaining. If you choose to continue, it could have negative consequences. Ah, okay. I thought I could use up all my hearts, but I guess not. The waves, there are waves crashing. The sound is so loud. I can't make myself be heard, but I still scream to the life raft that's moving away from the sinking ship. I'm going down with the ship. I'm being thrashed against the side of the old wooden vessel. This isn't right. The ship looks wrong. Ugh. The cat's face looms up close to mine. Everything is wrong, all of it. Which cat are you? But the words come out of my mouth as mellowing, and I realize I'm not myself. I'm some kind of beast. Suddenly I'm flying. I'm in the claws of some enormous bird. The beating wings are deafening. I look down on the ground, approaching really fast. You can drop through the break. What does that mean? What break? What break? Weird. Breakfast, rise and shine. Okay. It's weird. Let's do some research. So, research 12 is samples, field work. Let's do samples. It's a slow day today. I've only got to organize a few samples. Okay. Today I'm in the lab doing floor research. It's not the most exciting job, but if I keep my head down, I can get through it quickly enough. It just really consists of unpacking the new samples of plants and flowers that the professor and I have collected on our foraging expeditions and logging them into the database of organic substances on the computer. Most of them are commonplace plants that grow abundant in the forest, but occasionally we come across something more rare, exotic even. One of the samples I'm looking at today is Caldulo Inca Martinium, which is very interesting indeed. I can't help speculate that's been cultivating in the marigold's little greenhouse and then transplanted to open ground. I'm distracted momentarily by the sound of clinking glasses, and I turn to see the beautifully manicured paw of a Sphinx cat tapping on a beaker, nudging it precariously close to the edge of the counter. Boots, stop that. You're not supposed to be in here. She laughs as though I've told a joke. That's a frightfully pretty flower, Condrum Inca Martima, if I'm not mistaken. Never cease to amaze me, Boots. How on earth did you know that? Why, I make it my business to know all about rare and valuable works of art. Art? Why not? It's been created like a sculpture painting. The marigolds are true artists in the garden. I wonder if they have something to do with this. It's so unusual, even its natural swampy habitat, but to have it grown here in the forest is very out of the ordinary. Yes, its properties are extraordinary too, human. Well, I'm quite new to botanical science, so I probably don't know the half of it. Why don't you fill me in? Although I'm always happy to facilitate your learning, human, I can't simply stay here a moment longer. The air is too stale. It's so stale, don't you find? I ignore a sideways glance and upturned nose. Let's go to the beach and drink some coconut water, and I'll tell you everything you need to know. Snoots, I'm not going anywhere until I finish this. Don't be ridiculous. You can tinker about here anytime, but the sun will be gone in an hour or two. I'm not tinkering, it's my job. If I don't get it done, the professor will want to know why. Then explain to me you had better things to do. Snooty booty, I won't tell you again. If he catches you here, Purrfect will cage you. Be careful with that flower, human. It doesn't do to inhale that fragrance too deeply. What? I turn to ask why and see her Florence out, knocking the beaker with a swish of her tail as she does. You did that on purpose, but she's gone, leaving me to clear up the broken glass. Alright, well, I hope I did everything correct there. I'm gonna fill up this bar, so I'm gonna do one more lot of research. You can complete your research. Oh wait, once you complete your research, no, okay. So I didn't actually have to do research fast. Let's do some more recon then. Alright, recon 10. So I guess we'll look at this strange message. I hear my catalog beeping, and I presume it's the professor. I tumble out of bed, half asleep, and fumble around looking for the device. I look at the screen and my eyes struggle to focus. The message isn't from the professor at all. There's no contact information. Come outside. Who is this? Come outside. They obviously aren't going to respond to my question, so should I do this message tells me? Yes. My curiosity is roused and I have a feeling there's something important to learn from the stranger, so I throw on my clothes and crawl out of my tent. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Anyone out here? My catalog beeps again. Walk to the edge of the forest. I'm not going any further until you tell me who you are. Walk to the edge of the forest. No. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the... Stop it. By now I realized I've walked to the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest I see something on the ground. As I get closer it becomes clear it's a small posy of flowers. I gingerly pick them up and notice that several of the flower heads are missing. My catalog beeps again. Follow the petals. And that's when I see a trail of little orange petals, the same color as the bouquet I'm holding. Well, I've come this far, no turning back now. I begin to walk. I'm nervous, so I call out, hello? No answer, louder this time. Hello? 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 Who is that? Who goes there? Major, is that you, Fluffy Butt? I really wish you wouldn't call me that, human. What on earth do you think you're playing at? Caravorting around the forest in the dead of night, causing a ruckus? Oh, Major, you don't know how pleased I am to see you. I need your help. And this can't wait until a civilized hour? I'm afraid it can't. I'm not the one instigating this. I've been getting messages from anonymous sources asking me to follow them to the forest. Look, they've left this trail. Ah, Caldium martina, marigolds, herb of the sun. They're said to represent creativity. Some thought to believe them symbols of cruelty and grief. That's interesting. It's what we're studying today. Your knowledge is always so impressive, but I have to say, on this occasion, it's not very comforting. Fluffy Butt goes striding off with purpose. Come along then, Jupiter. We're going to follow this trail or not. I shuffle awkwardly behind him. Before the sun comes up, we continue on for a short while and notice that the petals are getting more sparse. It's becoming more difficult to see them until eventually they seem to run out and we find ourselves in a small clearing. Well, it appears someone has been playing a joke on you, Jupiter. I sadly agree that this has been nothing but a wild goose chase. Seems so, Major. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Let's go back to our beds before we waste any more precious snooze time on this fool. I turn to Fluffy Butt and notice that his back is arched and his fur is puffed up, making him look even more fluffy than usual. Something wrong, Major? You telling me, human? Does this pile of rocks look suspicious to you? Amongst myriad rock piles, I noticed a small, contrived-looking carven. Fluffy Butt's right. It looks far from natural. That looks to me like something that's asking to be inspected, Major. So let's check it out. Well, get to it, Jupiter. You're the one with the thumbs. I begin to dismantle the small mound, rock by rock. It's not until the foundational stone is removed that I find a manila envelope. Major, look, it's a letter. It's rather large for a letter, my dear. I think you ought to open it. Here, or back at base. Having got you this far, I think it's only fair that I have an equal share of the spoils. Spoils? Yes, perhaps we should look right now, Major. As I'm speaking, I've torn into the envelope. Well, out with it. It looks like drawings. What sort of drawings? Not sure, but they look quite odd. Old, antique even. But do they have value, human? Probably to someone. They appear to be sketches of people here on the island, but I don't recognize anyone. Why would someone lead me to these? How do you know you were meant to find them? Because we followed the trail that led us here. Actually, the trail ended a while back. This could be a mere coincidence. I hardly see the intrigue in a few odd scribbles. They show no artistic flair after all. Even so, I'm going to hang on to these to see if they prove relevant to whatever mystery is unfolding here on the island. I wonder if they're people that have been turned into cats. Fluffy Butt rolls his eyes. You really ought to focus more on the clues that matter instead of running around in the middle of the night on wild goose chases. Let's head back before anyone discovers you missing. I roll the drawings up and tuck them away into my waistband. I will study them when I have more time. I think Fluffy Butt is probably right, but I don't want to miss a trick. Get some rest now, Jupiter. Finally, a sensible suggestion. I head after Fluffy Butt, struggling to keep up. I really need some sleep. Maybe the marigold people are trying to help. Let's do some more recon. Alright, so I have to unlock more chapters. Interesting. Aren't I playing chapter 1? I'm at 6% though, so that's good. Well, nearly 7. I mean, I don't know how long until I become a cat, but I'm in class at my university. The tutor's late. We're all sitting waiting. I turn to my friend who sits beside me to make a joke about the tutor's car breaking down, but my friend isn't there. Instead, there's a giant cat. These dreams look insane. It looks like an elder. It bares its teeth at me and lets out a menacing low growl just as I'm about to scream. The tutor arrives, but it's Professor Purrpaw. You look like you've seen a ghost, Jupiter. I try to answer back to tell him to look behind me, but the words won't come out. I'm rigid with fear. Can't move, can't speak, can't scream. Everyone else is acting like things are normal. Can't they see it? I force myself to turn again and look at the terrifying cat, but it's not there. There's just an ordinary domestic cat, and everyone is laughing at me. Now I see everyone from the island. The Marigolds, Joe, Bob, Zane, Purrpaw, all pointing and laughing. I jump out of my seat to leave, and I'm in bed, in my tent, sat bolt upright. I shouldn't have eaten cheese so close to bedtime. This is a very interesting game. Oh, I didn't mean to rest. I wanted to romance, but I guess I didn't really look at it. Oh, I didn't do well with Snooty Booty. Wait. Cool, I'll just keep dating Murphy. I'm sweltering in the mess tent. Okay. Typical for me to get cook duty on the hottest day so far. I step out for a moment to try and catch some air. Psst. I'm not sure if I really heard something or if the dehydration is getting to me. I take a swig from my water bottle. Hey, aren't you gonna share, Kara? Oh, Murphy. McMurphy. What the hell was that you sting? What are you suggesting, Kara? I only use the designated litter areas. Murphy, you are incorrigible. You know exactly what I meant. Come on, Kara, never mind all that. We have work to do. I am working. I'm supposed to be cooking for this evening. I'm at work of the adventuring variety? Oh, of course you do. Oh, come on, don't be such a bore. I'm sorry, McMurphy, but I can't. I'm very busy here. It's going to take hours to defrost and braise his meat for the mainland. Well, if you come with me, you may end up providing a much tastier dish in half the time. What do you say, Kara? Are you up for it, Kara? What are you saying? You mean I should just bunk off? That's the spirit. Strip off your apron and let's hit the trail. But I can't. What if someone comes looking for me? Leave him a note. Gone fishing. Maybe it's the heat, but I'm overcome with a moment of madness. Well, okay then. You wild Irish rover, I'm all yours. Oh, now there's a thought. Before I can answer, he's sunk into the thickening of the forest behind the clay cooking pits. I whip off my apron and follow behind. Wait, Murph, it's too hot to run. Then we really ought to cool ourselves off, eh? Ah, we're gonna go swimming in the ocean. He's led me up to the cliffs and without warning takes a running jump off the edge. I see him flying through the air and watch him mesmerized as he cuts through the water. Oh no, Murphy, are you okay? Don't panic, I'm coming. I kick off my flip-flops and shorts and follow him into the water. I'm surprised at how shallow it is and that I'm easily able to stand. It's not good to jump into something that's that shallow. Murph, where are you? I frantically search about, fearing for his safety, and suddenly feel something brush up against my legs, making me scream out loud. What's that? Probably shouldn't. What's that? I look down into the clear water and see McMurphy speeding along the seabed like a shark, fast and sleek, and suddenly breaking up to the surface with something in his mouth. McMurphy, you can swim. What on earth is that thing? Oh my, it's a fish. I can see he's smiling, even with the sprat in the way. You can fish? He spits the fish back into the water. There truly is no end to my talents, Kara. You can say that again, but I have so many questions I don't even know where to start. Catch your breath, Kara. I know I'm exhilarating company, but you need to exercise a bit of restraint, or you'll be swooning over me next. Relax. The salt water is very buoyant. I copy McMurphy, and we both lie with our backs to the surface. It's very calming and tranquil, and I'm finally able to collect my thoughts. I realize I've not had this much clarity in a long time. This is so cool. I know. Trixie took me here first. Calls it the Ponder Pool. Oh, can you all swim then? I thought cats... Before I can even finish my sentence, Murphy cuts in. It's a common misconception that cats can't swim. It's a common misconception that cats can't swim. As you can see, it's another thing that we excel at. So humble, too. As Nana McMurphy used to say, if you've got a trumpet, blow it. What about the fish? Where did they come from? There are no birds or fish on the island. It's one of the first things they tell you in orientation. That's just because they don't know. They don't know what. Oh, it's better if I show you. Come on, Kara, follow me. We swim for a while, with McMurphy leading the way with purpose, and then he stops. Well, notice anything interesting? Well, the water's much cooler and deeper here. Anything else? Can you feel anything? I stand perfectly still for a moment and begin to feel a strange sensation around my legs, like a warm trickling under the water. McMurphy, are you peeing? Don't be so crude, Clara. It's current. Look over there. I refocus my eyes until they see what I thought was a rock shadow. It's moving. It comes closer into focus and I realize it's a shallow of small fish darting in and out of one peculiar spot. What is that? I don't understand what I'm looking at. Isn't it enough to just see, Kara, to experience? Do you always have to understand everything? Well, yes, that's my job. It's who I am, McMurphy. I'm a scientist. It's my DNA to seek to understand. Come on then, scientist, let's take a bit closer. Moving closer to the area where the fish are gathered, I put my hands down and realize I can't touch them. I can touch them and even pick them up, but something is stopping them from swimming further inland. McMurphy, we need to get going. I'm going to be in big trouble if I'm away for any longer, but thank you for showing me this. I'm definitely going to come back here and try to understand it. I wouldn't waste your time, Cora. It wouldn't be a waste. I'm committed to finding out all He cuts across me as I'm speaking. I meant coming back to this particular spot. The fishes won't be here. Oh, I see. It's only at certain times? At different locations. It changes all the time. There's no pattern to it either, so you'll just be sticking pins in mats, Cora. I brought you here because I saw them this morning. Chances are they'll be gone by this afternoon. The disappointment must be apparent on my face because McMurphy switches lanes super fast to distract me. Okay, Cora, it's time to strip off. Huh? That t-shirt would make a lovely net. Let's go fishing. Oh, I see. Go fishing. I whip my top off and use it as a net to scoop up as many fish as possible. It's quite efficient. Great idea, Murphy. Now you can rustle up a tasty fish supper in no time at all, and you get to enjoy my company for an extra hour. Win-win, Cora. Okay, so now I have a little challenge for you. That, Cora, is music to my ears. There's little I like more than a gauntlet thrown. I wonder if they're going to be weird about the fact that I made fish, but maybe they'll think it was on the shipment, so I guess it's okay. Well, it's hardly a gauntlet, more like a brain teaser. How am I going to explain the rest of my team this bountiful, yeah, that's what I was going to say, ocean offering? Why tell them anything at all? Because they're going to notice they're eating something that wasn't on the delivery list, or the menu rota. It tastes way too fresh for something recently defrosted. You worry far too much about things that don't really matter, Cora. No, he's right. I could do with loosening up a little bit, but this is a pretty big dilemma, really. Maybe I ought to tell Professor about this. What's the harm? Mac has stopped splashing around and looked squarely in the eyes. There would be harm, Cora. Trust me on that. Obviously, I didn't mean I'd tell him about you or anything that would be endangering any of us, just that I noticed the shallow of fish and I took some. End of. Really think you could mention a phenomenon like this, and that would be the end of it? That he wouldn't start putting all manner of investigations and disruptions in place? You are touchingly naive, my friend. I feel myself blush. I'm being a bit naive, but I don't like the thought of lying. So what do you suggest then, if you know so much about everything? Give me a plausible story and I'll follow through. McMurphy lets out a wild howl and splashes water at me. Now that's what I like to hear, you impetuous daredevil, you. I splash him back, and a furious water fight ensues. We are making such a ruckus, I'm amazed no one comes to check what's going on. After a good 10 minutes of laughter, we play, and we run out of steam, and float on the buoyant, warm water. Let's hear it then, Oz. What's my cover story? There's a very simple case of brazen bluffing. Okay? Make a simple but delicious meal, and if anyone would ask you where the fish came from, shrug your shoulders and ask the same question. Huh? It's on the poker face. You remain completely impassive and ask the same question. Yeah, I wondered that too. Where did all this fish come from? They're delicious. Really? Trust me, Cora. As a cat who is forever risking one of his 9, the simpler you keep it, the more they buy it. If they ask you where you got them from, you just tell them the fridge. Simple. I feel quite giddy at the prospect of getting away with a ruse. Okay, Murph, let's gather the supper. We have an abundance in no time, and I haul my catch back to the kitchen in good time to make a tasty meal for everyone, and have a little extra for my feline pals. Oh, that's quite lovely. We made a little delicious supper. So my stats probably aren't great. 8.3. So much stuff left to do. A lot of it I seem to need to unlock stuff for, so I guess I need to romance a whole lot more before I can unlock stuff. But I'm going to stop here. This is a pretty fun game. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on, and I'm sure the stories are all very different. So like if you decide to romance the other cat, or just unlock more stuff, etc. But if you'd like to check out this game, there's a link in the description, and if you'd like to check me out, my info is also in the description. Thank you very much for watching and liking and commenting and subscribing. Bye!